Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Mad About Nickname. My 30 female sister, 38 female, is suddenly mad at me because her daughter, 7 female, likes the nickname I gave her more than her real name. Let me say from the beginning that I do not think I have a right to tell my sister how to parent. If she wants her kid to be called name A instead of name B, that's her decision, not mine. However, this situation is a little odd and I'm not sure how to feel or how to proceed. I feel I should point out that I love my sister, but she is a narcissist. It was terrible to grow up with her and she made our lives difficult until she finished college and moved out. Our family is well aware that she originally had a child to snag her husband, who was very passive and codependent, and to get attention. Although she definitely loves her daughter, Jordan, and takes decent care of her, my sister is not an empathetic person and isn't the most attentive mom, so her daughter has become attached to a few other people in the family. That seems to be how Jordan's emotional needs are met. For some reason, kids like me, and she has gotten very attached to me in particular. My mom says it's because I do things for her that her parents don't usually do, like read to her and let her play with my makeup. Now, when Jordan was a baby, she could be very mischievous and goofy, so I would sometimes say, "Aren't you just a little Beelzebub?" At no point did this offend my sister or brother-in-law, even when my sister asked what Beelzebub meant and I told her. When Jordan began talking, she'd repeat the word back as Beezy, and it stuck. From then on, she was my Beezy, Beezy Boo, Beezy Weezy has a sneezy, all of the ridiculous crap you say to toddlers. Then Jordan got a little older and went to kindergarten, and she started telling people to call her Beezy instead of Jordan. Again, nobody in the family had a problem with this. The teachers and other students all called her Beezy without issue. Jordan is now finishing first grade, and we were having a little party to celebrate last week. At the party, Jordan asked if she could put on some lip gloss, and I said, "Go ask your mom, Beezy." My sister suddenly snapped and started yelling at me to stop calling her daughter that ridiculous name because I was calling her the devil and all of the other kids make fun of her for it. Jordan got mad and said she didn't want to be called Jordan, she hated that name, and my sister told her that was her name and that was what she was going to be called. Nobody in immediate earshot knew what to do then, so we all kind of sat around uncomfortably and ate our food. I later asked my sister why she didn't want me using a nickname for her daughter, especially since her daughter liked it a lot and felt it suited her. She came up with 2 excuses that I think are complete BS. 1. It comes from Beelzebub, which means the devil. I would get this if my sister was really religious, but she's what I call conveniently religious. She doesn't go to church, has never read the Bible, and knows next to nothing about religion. She just mentions God and Jesus whenever it's convenient for her, especially if she's trying to shame somebody. For instance, we had a fight about something completely unrelated, and suddenly I'm a terrible atheist who needs to find Jesus because I believe in evolution. My sister had 0 problems with this nickname up until this moment. Also, she is now claiming she named Jordan for the River Jordan, but that's a complete lie. She got the name out of a book of baby names that just listed names by letter. Honestly, the only Bible stories she really knows are Noah's Ark, Exodus, and the virgin birth. The rest is just her parroting whatever other people say. 2. The other kids are making fun of her for the stupid name. I know for a fact this isn't true because I work at the school my niece attends. We live in a diverse area, so the kids have names from a huge range of cultures and languages, and nobody bats an eye at Beezy. The teachers and other students have called her Beezy for 2 years now without issue. She is very popular at her school too, and gets along well with a lot of the other children. Really, I'm just not sure what to do or what to make of this. I can't force my niece to use her birth name, can I? And I get the feeling this isn't about the name, but is more about my sister's possessiveness and jealousy. Well, OP, I think you're right. I don't think you can force your niece to use her birth name if she doesn't want to. Unfortunately, that's a conversation she's going to have with her mom. In my opinion, I think she's old enough to choose what she wants to be called. Not in a legal way, like she would go to the courthouse and have her name changed, but she gets to choose her nickname if she wants to. For example, a few days ago, my sister-in-law asked my 5.5-year-old daughter if she could call her a nickname she's been wanting to call her since she was a baby. My wife and I personally are not big fans of nicknames, but now she's old enough to decide, so my sister-in-law asked her, and my daughter just looked at her and said no. And that was it. But if she would have said yes, I wouldn't have been calling her by the nickname, but my sister-in-law would be free to do it since my daughter would be comfortable with it. However, she does sometimes ask me to call her Spitfire since that's her favorite pony from the Wonderbolts. But anyways, apologies for the oversharing. I think it's sketchy that all of a sudden your sister has a problem with this thing. My uneducated guess is that there is something going on in the background that you are not aware of, but your sister is not happy with. And what do you guys think? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes, or what would you think about this situation? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Lieutenant Commander Retief says, I'll give you an alternative. When the flagship displays the signals flags B and Z, called Bravo Zulu in the Navy, it stands for well done, a high compliment. Use BZ to stand for that and get rid of the demon connotation. Trying to Tumblr says, do you think your sister could be getting jealous? From the background you gave, she sounds like she lives for attention. Maybe she is upset that her daughter likes something you gave her more than she did, like a pride ego thing. She could be trying to sound like a good mom, even though she obviously isn't. I don't really have any evidence for you except for what feels right. Freedom of speech exists for a reason. It's a cute nickname, and honestly, your sister is making a fuss about this for probably some stupid reason. And OP responds, I do think a lot of it is jealousy. One of the main reasons why she had a baby was to get attention, and we know it because she's always been that way. She loved people cooing over her when she was pregnant. She liked being able to complain about every little thing and people would excuse it because she was pregnant. And when she had Jordan and people would come up to her to tell her baby was cute, she'd always turn it around so the focus would end up at least partially on her. All of Jordan's achievements are about her abilities as a mother. Part of me wonders if she's starting to become jealous of her daughter or if she's jealous because her daughter likes me, but I don't know what to do. Blackberry Cat says, I, for one, totally understand your sister's feelings. It's a huge thing to name your child. It is special. To have that name erased and replaced with a name that means evil, that's pretty upsetting. However, I do think your sister needs to work with her daughter primarily on this. But if you stopped calling the child by the offending name, that would be mature and supportive of you. Otherwise, the drama is just going to escalate. Additional information from OP's comments. As I said in a comment, my sister is a narcissist and doesn't pay much attention unless it involves her directly, using her pregnancy for attention, making Jordan's achievements about her. Beyond that, my sister is not very interested in Jordan's life and actually gets annoyed when she expresses an interest in things my sister doesn't care about. My sister gets especially angry when Jordan ends up enjoying something I like or something her husband likes and she doesn't, like gardening. I know Jordan was very sad when she planted her first flower, grabbed my sister's hand, pulled her out to show her, and my sister was like, yeah, so? My sister is not very good about caring about things that don't directly affect her or interest her, and that regularly hurts Jordan's feelings. This whole thing reminds me of a fight my mom and sister had that I overheard a year or two ago. My sister was mad that Jordan didn't look up to her much. She complains about that a lot. And my mom said something like, you want Jordan to love you and idolize you, but you don't want to put forward any effort. You think you just deserve it. I think that kind of encapsulates my sister's behavior a lot of the time. Now, on the topic of nicknames, our family calls kids little Beelzeboobs all the time, so I didn't think anything of it. We were called little Beelzeboobs by our mom's side all the time growing up, and my sister asked what Beelzebub meant when I jokingly called Jordan that as a baby. She said something like, "What does that mean anyway?" I told her and she was like, "Oh, that makes sense." But before that, she just assumed it was a nonsense word. Same with Schatz from our German grandparents. She thought it was nonsense, and then one day she was like, wait, does that mean something or is it nonsense? Anyway, Jordan is the one who started saying Beezy. We thought it was cute and it stuck from then on. Honestly, I never know how to respond to her behavior. I'm always told she's the mother and I have no right to question her, so I usually don't. I just take care of Jordan the best I can when she's with me. which is often because I watch her for a few hours after school during the school year. I can take her to my house straight from the school. My sister also dumps her off on short notice whenever she wants to do something. Then my sister gets mad when her daughter is more excited to spend time with other people. I asked her at the start of this year if she wanted me to stop watching Jordan after school and to just drop her off at home, but my sister said she needed the time to herself. Okay, well, we've got varied opinions from the community, and OP gave us a little bit more insight into the type of person and parent that her sister is. So now let's move on to the update to see what the sister is actually mad about and also how this story ends. First, I want to thank everybody for their suggestions and my opinions in my original post. They really helped me deal with some difficult issues that had been on my mind for a week. Also, somebody asked me where Jordan's father is. He works the night shift 6 days a week, so he makes my niece dinner before he goes to work, then packs her lunch and sends her off to school in the morning when he gets home. They go to church with his family once or twice a month, and they like to work in the garden together. I don't talk to him a lot because he's usually sleeping around the day and I don't go to their house that often. Now, this update is going to need some backstory that I should make clear from the start for a change. Jordan's father is black and his family is very religious and very into representing their culture and heritage. The church does a lot of spirituals and his family likes singing them at home too. When she was about 4 or 5 years old, my sister realized Jordan loved those songs and would always sing them, and she tried telling her husband that she shouldn't do this because my sister wasn't raised that way. My brother-in-law is usually really passive, but this was one moment where he stood up to my sister and told her that their daughter is half black and can trace her heritage back to the plantations, so ignoring her heritage wasn't going to happen. So to the update. After my sister yelled at me at the picnic, I didn't watch Jordan for a few days, partly because I was busy and partly because I thought I should give my sister some space. This was easy because I'm not taking Jordan home from school right now. She spent a lot of time with my mother and her other grandmother instead. Shortly after I posted my original post, I sent my sister a few text messages to see how she was doing and what she'd been up to, and she sent back, "Don't think I don't know what you're up to. I haven't changed my mind about that stupid name." I told her that was fine. She was Jordan's mother and I'd respect her wishes. She sent another message saying, "Her name is Jordan, nothing else, because that's what I named her." That text becomes relevant later. Now, her other grandmother actually dropped Jordan off at my house this morning, and she said something like, "Hey BZ, tell your aunt all about the bugs you found." I was so shocked to hear that name after it had been supposedly banned. My niece told me all about the grasshoppers she'd caught and everything, and then she ran to the back bedroom to get something. I asked her grandmother if my sister had spoken to her about her nickname and reminded her about the picnic, and she was like, "Oh, she was serious about that? That doesn't make sense. We've been calling her BZ all week, right in front of her mom too." I asked her what my sister had been calling her, and she gave me a weird look and said, "BZ and JP like usual. Why?" Before she left, my sister's mother-in-law mentioned that my sister had yelled at her this past week too. Apparently, mother-in-law and Jordan had been watching TV at my sister's house, and a black woman with cornrows came on screen. Jordan told her grandmother she loved her hair. Mother-in-law said her cousin could do her hair like that if she wanted. My sister got angry and said there was no way her hair was getting put in cornrows. Mother-in-law asked what was wrong, and my sister said she didn't know how to take care of cornrows, so it wasn't happening. Mother-in-law told her her son, my sister's husband, used to have cornrows and knew all about them, and she could teach my sister how to take care of them. Then my sister said, "Well, I don't like how they look." Jordan said, "Aunt Bibi has hair like that and she looks really pretty. Don't you think I'd look pretty?" Apparently, my sister just said, "No, and don't you do her hair like that. It's hideous." You being the grandmother and her family. Jordan's grandmother said she didn't push the issue because she's not the girl's mother, but she knew it hurt Jordan's feelings and she was pretty upset about it as well. As soon as Jordan's grandmother left, I texted my sister and said, "I'm only to call her Jordan, right?" And she responded, "Right." Well, I was furious, but a few users made a good point. Living with a narcissist parent is never easy. My niece and I are close and I don't want our relationship cut off, meaning I need to pick my battles. So once Jordan was all played out and relaxed, I said, "Honey, we need to have a talk about your name. Mommy really wants me to call you Jordan and I think it's important that we do what she says." My niece got really upset and said that wasn't fair. Her mom called her BZ herself and everybody else did. All of her friends called her BZ. The name is special to her. She loves fairies and it's always reminded her of fairies. That got me right in the gut. She hates the name Jordan. It was a real mess. So finally I said, "Well, what would happen if I stopped calling you BZ?" She said names like that are magical and special. So if I stopped calling her BZ, she wouldn't be special or magical anymore. I told her she was special no matter what, but she was still upset. I was scrambling for a minute and then I realized, well, if she wants her name to be magical, we can do that. I asked her if she wanted to make Jordan special too. When she eventually agreed, we listened to some of her favorite songs that mentioned the River Jordan. And I said, "See, Jordan is really special in these songs." That did the trick. She was thrilled. I think I heard Old Man River a dozen times, but it was worth it. Victory! I figured we were all done with this. I could safely call her Jordan, the battle was avoided, so on and so on. Of course not. An hour ago I got a visit from a very pissed off sister. Apparently Jordan told her mom all about the songs and how her name was special because of them, and now my sister is telling me I can't call her Jordan. I asked her why and she said something like, "She likes the name now because of those songs and I effing hate that music." I said, "I'm really sorry, but Jordan loves it, and it was the only way I could get her to accept me calling her Jordan instead of BZ. She kept ranting on about how that was too bad, she hated that music. At no point did she mention my niece's feelings. I finally asked her, if I can't call her the name she wants to be called, and I can't call her by her birth name, what am I supposed to call her? And she just stared at me completely blank for I don't know how long, and then she said in a really nasty voice, "Just call her whatever you want then." 5 minutes later, she's totally calm and asking me to watch my niece again in a few days so she can go shopping. And by the way, she called her BZ almost the whole time she was there. It was bizarre. I was a wreck about this comment at the picnic for almost a week, and now things seem much more clear. For me, this confirms that the problem wasn't BZ at all. My sister is picking fights like this because she's a first-class narcissist. She's jealous that her daughter has a good relationship with other people, and she's mad that her daughter is becoming her own person. It's clear that my sister gets irritated when her daughter isn't an extension of herself. Jordan likes something her mom doesn't, pissed off. Picking a fight with the adults around makes her feel like she's in control of Jordan again, but doesn't directly come off as abusing or yelling at her daughter. When I look back, this fits a real pattern of behavior for her. The good thing, I don't know what else to call it, is that my sister will rarely watch her daughter for more than one full day at a stretch before she gets frustrated or bored, so I know she won't cut me off. She depends on me too much for childcare. So I'm just going to try and be there for Jordan as much as I can, and I won't say it out loud, but when she turns 18, she's welcome to move in with me. She can move in with cornrows and a BZ name tag while she sings "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" at the top of her effing lungs. That feels like the right thing to do. Well, OP, it sounds like you are absolutely right regarding your sister. And it's a good thing that your niece has somebody like you and the rest of her family besides her mom to actually support her and help her out. Hopefully, and I know it's a long shot, but she won't be too much affected by her mom's behavior. In any case, OP, thank you so much for sharing, and hopefully everything goes well for your niece in the future. Take care, OP. Now, even though that was a clarifying update, I still feel like we need a mood changer to move on, so let's go with some petty revenge for that. And it's from user, "How would you like to die?" Use my email, I'll use your points. Someone on the opposite side of the globe has given my email as theirs to a makeup store they visit monthly. They pay for their products in store, but the receipt is emailed to me. I've tried canceling the account and changing email settings, but the receipts keep coming. There's no address or other contact details for this person, only my email address. I'm sick of this, so I logged into their account and gave all their built-up points to charity. Maybe when they go use them, they'll realize their address is wrong and change it. Short and sweet, OP. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.